Parshas Bo, the Aliyah of Sheni, introduces to us two of the final makos of course, the 10 makos that will plague Mitzrayim before we encounter the very final makkah of Makas Bechoros. And that is the makkah of Arbe, the makkah of the locusts, transitioning to the makkah of Choshech, of darkness. And it's fascinating because if one looks at the formulation of the psukim, we will notice that each and every one of the makos is preceded by a warning given by Moshe Rabbeinu to Paro that if you do not meet the demands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you will bring incredible destruction upon your nation, appealing to Paro's sense of leadership and compassion and his essential role to maintain the vitality and vibrancy of his culture and of his people. And yet when we encounter the Makkah of Choshech, which happens towards the conclusion of this Aliyah, there is no warning. We transition straight from Paro's insistence that the Jewish people not leave following Makas Arbe to the introduction of the Choshech itself. Why is it that there is no warning on the part of Moshe Rabbeinu for Makas Choshech? And the answer is because the Makkah of Choshech distinguished itself from all of the other Makkos. All of the other Makkos were disciplinary, punitive expressions of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will upon the Egyptian people. So to speak, a response and a reaction for how they treated Am Yisrael throughout the hundreds of years that they found themselves in slavery. The final Makkah before the experience of Makas Bechoros, which itself is a very different type of Makkah on Mitzrayim, the final Makkah is not so much a consequence or a punishment for the Egyptian people, but it's a revelation of their reality. The notion that they have willfully and intentionally shrouded themselves in darkness. The notion that even though there's so much clarity right in front of them, even though they could see with such discernment the presence and the power of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the mistaken approach of subjugating the Jewish people, they choose nevertheless to persist in this behavior of subjugation of Am Yisrael. So Makas Choshech is not Moshe Rabbeinu coming to Paro and saying, if you don't let the Jewish people go, there's going to be darkness. It's the foreshadowing of the final demise of the Egyptian people, insofar as they lack the ability to attain any sense of clarity and understanding and connection to what was going on around them. And that really is part of the penetrating lesson of this Aliyah, that so often in life, when we look around our own life experience, sometimes the truth eludes us, and sometimes we intentionally create a sense and an environment of darkness because we're afraid to face that truth, or because we're too weak to face that truth. Moshe Rabbeinu tells the Egyptian nation, you're going to be shrouded in the very darkness that you've created. And so therefore it's not part of the dynamic and the dialogue between Moshe Rabbeinu and Paro himself.